Isaiah Stewart, there's a little misconception of who he is. He views himself as a power forward. He played a lot of center last year. He has the size of a power forward, but he's not athletic like you want in today's power forward. He has a good back to the basket game, pretty nice touch around the rim. He has good footwork where he can be versatile on defense. But again, I don't know what he is. It seems like he's anything from a power forward to a center to Nick Collison coming off the bench. I have no idea. It's a little interesting, but he views himself as a power forward, and I believe you have a clip to play for us.
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see myself more as a power forward now. Especially having this group of bigs. I see myself as a power forward. And, a key this summer. Even after talking to, Coach Monty was continue to get comfortable with doing certain things. He's gonna have me do this season at the four. So that's been a lot of my focus this season.
So I think two things I took out of that clip, and I do apologize for being really quiet. For some reason, the Pistons media press conferences are always super quiet. I don't know why. But basically what Isaiah Stewart said is have to play power forward because of all the bigs on this team. And Coach Monty told me, we're going to use you in a lot of different actions at the power forward position. So looks like what Marvin Bagley wanted to do, Isaiah Stewart gets to do. He gets to play that power forward position. But I think both of us, all this summer and even last season, we always viewed him as a power forward. We always viewed him as a guy that, even though he was playing center, we always said, he's a power forward trying to play center. I like that the Pistons have a direction for him and they want to play him at that power forward spot. But maybe there's some confusion among fans because sometimes I will see fans saying, why do we play two centers in the starting lineup? Like,
Yeah.
Stewart's 6'8". You're not going to play a 6'8" center. He doesn't have the athleticism of a Ben Wallace, right? We understand that. But I think him as a power forward is completely fine.
Yeah, but he seems kind of unsure of it in that clip. Like, I think, yeah, I mean, he didn't play terribly today. I mean, he did miss, I think, his first 4 3-point shots. He did set some solid screens, got into a little foul trouble. I think he's just too physical to be a power forward. And even though he can keep up and he can switch, you saw him switch all over the floor tonight. I still think he'd be better. He'd be best as a backup 5, and I'm going to continue to stick with that. Let him just come off the bench. Let him use that energy. Let him use that hustle. Allow him to be physical with guys and play him for like 22 minutes. He might be more valuable and better in that stretch. I would rather have Isaiah Stewart available for the fourth quarter when guys are tired and he just keeps going than just have him start games at the 4 out of necessity. Give me Bojan at the 4, give me Isaiah Stewart at the back of 5, and let Marvin Bagley and James Wiseman watch from the bench.
Yeah, I know you've always had that opinion
Yeah.
with Isaiah Stewart. You want to see him off the bench. This is where it gets tricky now, right? You extended him this summer, which shout out to him for getting extended. I applaud players getting paid. But I think the organization has always wanted to have two bigs. Even before Troy got here, they've always wanted to have two bigs. And I think both of us can agree that the only way it's really going to work is if that outside shot is falling.
Yep.
I know Monty said he wanted to use him in more post-up scenarios, but my only thing with that is for a big, he doesn't have the best hands.
No.
And it seems like a lot of times, like just an easy bounce pass, he doesn't have, a full grip on it and it's a turnover. I don't know if that's something he can work on and, getting better hand-eye coordination. I'm not sure. But I'm willing to be patient with him because I think this team defensively, especially switching, You saw it tonight. I mean, he guarded Devin Booker, he guarded Bradley Beal, he guarded Kevin Durant. I think switchability on the defensive end of the floor with Isaiah Stewart is something that the Pistons value, and I think a lot of Pistons fans probably saw that tonight of him switching onto guards, forwards, and centers. I think that's important, but it's just the hands for me when he catches a pass. Because I know it's going to be a turnover. I just do. That's not really his strength. I think his strength is more from the outside and hustle points, like you were saying, just being that hustle, being that glue guy off the bench. I think that's where he's going. That's just his bread and butter, in my personal opinion. But maybe he can get better at catching a basketball. I'm not going to put him on the tier list with Butterfinger, Aaron Baines, but he's definitely a close second. But that's okay. None of these players are perfect, but that's only my concern with him is playing power forward. Is the outside shot for me has to fall, and he just does not have great hands around the rim.
No, and again, I don't mind the contract. It doesn't come into play till next season, where he'll be making $15 million, which is 10% of the cap, and then by the fourth year of that contract, it will be 7% of the cap. So it's really not that bad. I mean, Naz Reid got paid, and he's a backup center or a backup four. Naz Reid, he does have a little bit more offensive ability, I guess. He has better hands for sure. But Isaiah Stewart, there's still a role for him, and again, I just don't think it's starting. Like, I would rather they can experiment. They can experiment with him at the 4 this year, experiment with Duren at the 4 if they want as well. But eventually you're gonna have to. I think you're eventually gonna have to go out and find someone to play the 4 for the Pistons. I think if the starting lineup stays the way it does, where it's Caden Burks in the backcourt, Asar at the 3, Stewart at the 4, and Jalen Duren at the 5, your weakest position is power forward. Even if Isaiah Stewart does develop a consistent three-point shot, it's just his game is so much hustle and so physical. It would be hard. I feel like he's always going to get in foul trouble, but you can eliminate that fear just by having him come off the bench and be a high energy guy, someone that can be physical, and you don't have to worry about it because you still got Duren and some other guys to fill in.